Hi, welcome to my Open Futures Coalition project. My name is Alan Girth. I was at the Open Futures Forum a few weeks ago, hearing about people talking about knowledge commons and designing for a living lens, like designing so people will use the products, and funding and all sorts of things, all sorts of great things. And I had an idea for a while about a way that we could do this, a way we could make a collective commons, a way we could fund it through actions that we're taking, and basically by going at the problem by answering the question, what can I do? So we're going to leverage all the people out there in the world and leverage them wanting to know what can they do. So that's the premise. You know, there's hundreds of millions of people out there. They want to make the world a better place. So this site is a little experiment, a little minimal viable product that we can work on and figure out for the next 100 days or so. Next few months, so until February, I was hoping to make a group and talk about this, test it out, and kind of just populate this very basic website and see what works, see what doesn't work. So the idea is just, normal people, as I say here, normal people would share what they are worried about and what they're currently doing about it. And then experts would share what they're worried about and what they're currently doing about it. And then we would just collectively find the best practices and create a knowledge commons. So let's see how it would work, okay? So I've written a bunch of stuff here, and but what I did is I just made a Google spreadsheet. I think that's all we need to start with, a Google spreadsheet. And I've got tabs for, how to fund it, the knowledge commons, and, a living lens type of thing. So this would be the member profile, okay? So the member would put their name there and what they, I want to know what I can do about ... And they would just list what they're worried about, okay? This is just very, initial things. Maybe as we start off, I would have interviews with people and we would kind of figure out how this would go. But basically, the person writes out what they want to know what they can do about. And then this down here is it actually pulls from the knowledge commons. So like if I'm over here in knowledge commons, if I added something here, it would be over here. So we're updating the one knowledge commons, and then doesn't really matter. Everybody's member profile updates. But what's different on the member side is they can say if they've done it. Okay, so I'm just going to say I made one for myself. Member number one, I just duplicated it. I typed in my name as Alan. I'm worried about air pollution, plastic in the ocean, bullying, parenting in terms of how to parent properly. And then, I look down, things I can do. Oh, there's an article I can read about green electricity. Did I do it? Yeah, so I did that. And then green natural gas or renewable natural gas. I did that. And then I used the tips on finding the best credit card, okay? So then over in Knowledge Commons, we can add up, who is doing these things. Let's see if I can just drag that down. Yeah, so I could just drag that down and I can see that we could have everybody's member profile adding up. So we could see our collective action in the knowledge commons, okay? And we could be updating and helping each other find best practices, right? As we get more and more articles, we would want to be, kind of figure out how to do it more Wikipedia style. So we have one entry and we're just manipulating or updating that entry, right? And have some way to tell people, as the versions get updated. But then, there's going to be so many things. How are we gonna sort through these? So I tagged those articles with, the problem at hand, air pollution, building community, and I also tagged it with locations. So if it's applicable all around the world or North America, Canada, or specifically Ontario. And then people can see how many articles are on each one. And then you just click, you can click any one of these links, renewable natural gas, and then it takes us to the blog post about that. And it just says, Enbridge Gas, the natural gas provider in my area, just for $2 extra a month, they will, they say they're going to provide me, or my amount of natural gas will somehow be created through a renewable natural gas solution. So how effective that is, or how trustworthy that is, we would rate that over time, right? But first step, a lot of people don't even know about this option, right? Maybe they could look at their municipality instead of having to go, in terms of make really expensive solutions. Maybe there's a cheap solution already from your current provider that we could leverage, right? So the idea is really focusing on the individual, what they're worried about, and then how to provide them articles that they can fit into their lives, right? So the one I have on exercising, it actually builds in 12 different tips in one. So this is what we're trying to go for: synergy, fit into your life. So people are already exercising. How could they do it with a little bit of a new mindset? Or maybe they're thinking about exercising and they're not sure what to do, right? So there was a TED Talk about the benefits of 30-minute walks every day. And there was another studies and TED Talks about being outside. So not just a treadmill, try to get outside. And then, another talk about how being with friends is beneficial to your health and your community. So, combine your walk outside with friends. And while you're doing it, maybe, there's some benefits of incorporating citizen science in it. So you're out there maybe, interested in the trees. Instead of Pokemon Go, maybe you're gonna snap a few pictures of the trees and figure out what those leaves are, and maybe you really get into that. Maybe you and your kids get into that. And, there's a ton of things to go down that path. Reminders to use reusable water bottles, and reminders about healthy snacks. Reminders about, you could maybe take some gloves and a bag to pick up trash in your, on your walk in nature. There's even a TED Talk on how to make that fun, and sharing the idea with others. So that's, something that comes up a lot about, how to make the world better, sharing what you're doing, right? Try to avoid having to drive where you're going. So just walk around your house or neighborhood. Maybe supporting local conservation areas, and then reminders about not feeding wildlife. So that's a big draw at the conservation area near me, but there's downsides to it, right? Feeding the wrong things, or maybe you don't want to feed them at all, right? So just being aware of that, and then forming new habits. That's a big problem. So we've got a couple TED Talks, a couple tips people can click through, or just a couple sentences there about the highlights of what those TED Talks say about how to make it a lasting habit. So we started with just people saying what they're doing and what they're worried about doing, and we're going to kind of Wikipedia it into entries, and we're going to summarize those and synergize those and map them and tag them so it's easy to find, and we're going to share. And it's all about getting people to feel something, feel a reason to come back here, feel like these solutions are helping them, and actually have solutions that are actually making a difference, right? So I like to think of it as leveraging bragging and complaining, right? We don't just want kind of the TED Talk style, watching something, getting really interested or emotional about the topic, and then kind of not doing anything about it. So we want to help people do something about it. And then how are we going to fund it? So we've seen so many things get very big and very popular using the user as the funding source. So we could do that, but with a twist, right? So we can use this first one, Flip Give. That is, buying gift cards for things you're already doing. Here's an example of that website. I already set up a team. You could buy, for gas stations, for restaurants, for bookstores, grocery stores. Some are better than others. We can share, which ones we like. I really like this restaurant one because it's 7% cash back. And I often find myself going to restaurants once in a while, right? So that's the first one. We can all join a team, fundraise through that app. I bought an electric car, or I pre-ordered an electric car recently, and there's a referral bonus of $1,000 credit towards the new one. So I could donate all of those to this cause if other people use my referral link. Similarly for Everlane clothing, or we could just get people to buy anything they're already buying on Amazon, and we could have referral links here. I didn't make them yet, but I have. We could test it out here. I just made some shortened URLs that if people use these, we can see who's actually using them, right? See if this is easy enough for someone to use. And we can add more companies. They don't need to be all affiliate links. We could just add things like Patagonia. We know Patagonia is like a good company, and then that's okay. But the twist is all of the members. If all of the members are owners, somehow we turn this into either a co-op or a nonprofit or a corporation of some sort. So once we establish those mechanisms, we could really go in this funding, and then we can all have a vote on where the money goes and how the site is run. And so unlike something like Facebook, where it's very secretive, they're collecting all your data, you don't know what they're doing with your data. Here, the users, the members, would own the company. We would own our data, and we could leverage the data for ourselves. We could choose what to sell and what not to sell, and I think that is a way. I think that little twist, having the members be the owners, would change everything, right? So send me a message in the comments, or I'll put some information in the description how to get involved if you want to get involved. But I'd love to have a few more people fill out member profiles and then work through this over the next few months, kind of wrapping this up mid-February 2023, and see what we learned from it and see where to go next. All right, thanks.